Kur'an dünyanın düz olduğunu mu iddia ediyor?
There was no indication in the Quran of this nature to say that the earth is flat, but some interpreters of the Quran had gathered from some verses that means that the earth is flat. For example, وَالْأَرْضَ مَدَدْنَاهَا, as for the earth we have flattened it or extended it. So it doesn't need to mean that the earth is flat. It may mean that God has given you some, even if the earth is a globe, God has given you some flat expanses on which you can establish your dwellings as a bounty from God. But some classical interpreters interpreted that way, and some to this day, following the classical interpreters, would want to insist that this is the Quranic view. But no, the Quran does not actually say that. On the contrary, the Quran does not also say that the earth is a globe, but there are some good indications that the earth is spherical in structure. One is that the Quran says, يُكَوِّرُ اللَّيْلَ عَلَى النَّهَارِ. God coils the day around it calls the night around the day. وَيُكَوِّرُ النَّهَارَ عَلَى اللَّيْلِ, and he coils the day around the night. So if we think about the act of coiling, this is, if you think of a man coiling his turban around his head, so that you can see the shape of the earth, if that's the day and night going around. In fact, when one looks at the earth from outer space, one would see that the night is shifting around the world, and so too the day is shifting around the world. So one is coiling around the other like this. So the spherical shape of the earth might be gathered from that. And the Quran also says, يُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَيُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ. So there's this interpenetration of night and day happening all together at the same time. And the Quran speaks about, the day of judgment arriving either by an hour of day or by night. So it might be day in one part of the world, it could be night in another part of the world, and so on. So there are indications in the Quran of the spherical nature of the earth. Another such passage might be cited in this regard is the one in which God says, وَالْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَحَاهَا, and the earth afterwards we have made daha. What's this verb daha? So this seems to be related to the Arabic word duhya, which means an egg. So it may mean that God has shaped the earth like an egg. So these are just some indications. There's nothing clear one way or another. Now that we know from scientific studies that the earth is definitely spherical in shape, that should be our view as Muslims, and we should interpret the Quran along with that view. There's no need to go back to the classical interpreters to say that and insist that the earth is flat, except of course to say that we have some flat expanses so that we can establish our dwellings upon the spherical earth. So peace be with you. Thank you for watching. I'm your brother in faith, Shabir Ally, speaking to you from the Science, Philosophy, Religion Foundation in Istanbul, Turkey.